Call the City Council meeting to order. Tonight we have Pastor Ralph Wilcox from Missionary Baptist. Would you please say the prayer?
Gracious Heavenly Father, God, as we come before you tonight, we are so thankful for this opportunity just to pray and call on your name, as we always are thankful for those opportunities. And Lord, as we are here in this place tonight, we just ask that you would just be here in our midst, Lord. I pray for our city council leaders, God, as your word tells us to pray for our leaders, and we do that tonight. We just lift them up. I pray that you would give them wisdom as they face the situations that they do on a day-to-day basis, and God, I pray that you would give them great wisdom and guidance as they make decisions that affect everybody within the community, Lord. I pray that you would help them to just have clarity to understand what would be the best thing in each of those situations, God. And we thank you for this city. We thank you for your blessings being upon it, God. We just pray that your peace would rest here, that your will would be done here. We pray that through this city council and through our leaders, that you would receive honor and that you would receive glory. We just lift up your name tonight and give you the honor and praise for everything. In Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. What's going on, Colin? It's been that kind of a day. Yeah. We're working through some technical difficulties. Please bear with us. Maybe we'll just go down and listen to the music until they get ready. Is Z not able to connect? Are you on?
Yes.
C's okay.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ferdinand, our new deputy prosecutor, would you please start us off?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just to let everyone know, we have 2 council people who are on vacation, but the new law that went in July 1st allows us to have them in attendance at our meeting, and so Gina and Brian, who are in a great place where we're not, are here with us on the screen. Nina, would you please call the roll?
Councilperson Alvarez?
Here?
Councilperson Podgorski?
Here.
Councilperson Geisler?
Here.
Councilperson Clem?
Here. I'm sorry.
Councilperson Williams?
Here.
Councilperson Gully?
Here.
Here.
We have the approval of the minutes from the June 1st meeting.
I'll make a motion to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any discussions? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
We have to do a roll call vote.
Oh, that's right, we do. We have to do a roll call when we have people online. Nina, please call the roll.
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geisler?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
Councilperson Stewart?
Yes.
We have communications, correspondence, announcements from the mayor. The only announcement I have is I just want to thank everybody that took part in our 4th of July, which was on the 3rd of July parade and our festivities that night. It was absolutely fabulous. I don't think I've ever seen that many people there. I want to thank our police officers, our fire department, our parks and streets who really stepped up and helped us out and got us through that. I think it's great when the kids can see the police and fire mingling with us. So thank you all for being there and for supporting our city. So thank you. That's all I have. We don't have any appointments.
Yeah, that was a
Okay.
thing that got left on.
Okay. We have the clerk treasurer's report.
I just need, I don't know if this has ever actually really been presented to the council before, but we have $1,704.79 in miscellaneous outstanding EMS bills. If they're less than $100, they don't go small claims. So I just need you guys to accept that and so we can write it off.
I'm sorry, Nina, could you repeat that, please? I couldn't hear you.
I just need the council to accept the write-off of $1,704.79 in EMS bills. All of the individual bills are less than $100, so we can't collect the small claims.
Nina, what period of time? Is this over a year?
It's over several years.
Oh,
It's just lingering.
several years?
Mhm. just uncollectible.
Dan, do we just need a motion to accept these to write them off?
That is correct.
I'll make a motion to accept to write off these EMS billing balances.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? If not, all in favor, please call the roll, Nina.
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Yes.
Councilperson Zimmerman?
Yes.
And then the second item I have is just a, back in 2016, the city adopted an ordinance for an internal control policy, but there was never actually like a written plan and documentation, and the city has been written up on it in our reports every year. So this is just it's a working policy, and it will be updated as it needs changes, tweaked. So I don't think you have to really approve it because the ordinance has been adopted. It's just a written document to give to state board.
Nina, I think Scott, in reviewing it, had a few things. So I think Scott and Debbie wanted to meet just to go through it and see if there are some things that the council wanted to look at getting changed in the policy. So we can get that meeting on the books. I agree. I don't know that we need to adopt this, but I think.
The ordinance is already in place, but there was no written real plan.
But Dan, I'm happy to have an adoption if we think that's necessary.
I don't think so tonight. I think you guys have a working document here. I think you're fine to just have the report.
We just need to have something on the books prior to state board coming in and being like, where's your plan?
Exactly.
Yeah, I would like thank the clerk treasurer for carrying out and fulfilling this ordinance and adopting these internal controls. I think I read through them, every word. I think it's on the surface and everything. It makes a lot of sense the way this has been laid out. I think Deb and I just have some few questions. We'll meet with you and then be able to communicate back to the council the responses.
Thank you.
Thank you, Nina.
Thanks, Nina.
Do you have anything else, Nina?
No.
We have reports from city officials. We will start with fire.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening,
Randy.
Chief.
So the month of June for us was quite busy. We had 584 total calls, and that's quite a bit. It's almost 600 calls, so we average just about 20 calls a day. So it's quite a bit. 407 were EMS, 15 were fire calls. Just to show you a little example of how busy we were last year in June, we had 430 calls. So we were up over 150 calls just in that 1 month. Our total calls are 2,949 calls. So 2,088 were EMS, 76 fire calls. Last year we only had 2,323 total calls, 1,742 EMS, and 36 fires. So we're up 726 calls from last year alone, and last year, remember, was our record-breaking year. So we are substantially busier. That's actually a 22% increase. One thing is, it's very concerning to us, is we are still continuing on our mutual aid. We have 44 mutual aid calls that came into the city. So we're averaging 1 to 2 mutual aid ambulances a day. So it's getting pretty bad, so we really need to address it. We did have a major breakdown on one of our engines. However, luckily, we didn't have another major breakdown, so we were able to deal with it in-house, and we were still able to keep everything else running. But again, we do have to address those issues also soon. We did 550 hours of combined training. We did have some special training last week. We did bring in, it was a Substance Abuse Council. It was kind of an offshoot called MERT. And what they do is they have different options for people who are having substance abuse. It's kind of like what happens after the naloxone type of thing, and where to direct them. So they kind of instructed our people, gave us cards, some resources, and that we could actually help people and their families after the overdose to try to get help and just try to help alleviate this problem. We also had some mechanical issues with the fireboat. However, those have been fixed, and the boat was back in the water before the 4th of July weekend. So we did have a new firefighter start to replace one of our retirements. His name is Logan Kalmar, and he did start June 28th, so he's doing his training and ride-alongs right now before he gets on turn. Again, we still have those FEMA grants outstanding. We're still waiting. FEMA is really slow at getting those out. So the good news is we haven't been denied. So we're still in the running.
And those grants are for what, Randy? Could you refresh
The grants, the one is a regional grant, which we worked out with the county 911 system and numerous fire departments, and that's for station alerting. They're going to be doing, it's a special radio system that they're going to be going to, and it's narrow banding things, and it'll alert specific stations, and they'll assign different frequencies, and so it's something that has to be done anyway.
So we're
And if
hoping FEMA covers the cost of that transition?
Right.
Okay.
It's an 80-20, and we're hoping that the county can help, since it's through dispatch, that maybe they can help with the 20.
Okay.
So it could be very beneficial to the whole county. And then we have a department grant that is all of our portable radios were got with a grant about 10 years ago, so they're pretty outdated and they need replaced, so we're trying to do that too.
So Randy, are you watching this infrastructure package that's going through? There's a lot of broadband attached to that. Is there anything that you guys can apply for in that, if that passes?
We keep watching out for it, yeah, and then we're also, I'm on the 911 Advisory Council, so we just had a meeting today and we talked about looking into that because I found out our dispatch, the whole dispatch is moving. They were supposed to have already been moved, but it's been delayed a little bit, so they're going to be moving into the old jail in Valpo. So hopefully that'll happen in the next couple of weeks. And then they are also going to a totally different system as far as how they input their information and how they send it to us, and it's called Premier One, and that's supposed to be way above what we're working with right now and should help us a lot. And there's some different monies tied to that also. So, and right now the county is picking up pretty much that cost.
Chief, how have things been with fireworks for the 4th of July? Have we any major issues this year, or?
Not really. We had a few, people putting fireworks in garbage cans and then setting them next to their garage, and nothing really major. No real major injuries. So we've been pretty lucky. We've been really busy, but
By fireworks in their garbage can next to their garage, do you mean like fireworks that have been lit off?
What happens is some people will shoot their fireworks off, scoop them up, and then put them in the garbage can before they've had time to cool.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I did that, but like a day later. Okay. Just wanted to make sure that was clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They were a little quick in throwing their stuff away.
Got it.
So.
Make a big boom.
Yeah, we don't like big booms next to the house.
No.
And then, speaking of the 4th of July, I just want to tell our crews, all the folks you see behind, what a great job that they did over this weekend and just in the past couple of months. And it's not just our city, things have just been going crazy lately for everybody. And these guys have really picked up their game, and they've been covering their calls, and they've really worked their butt off, and I'm really proud of them. They make the city look good. They do a phenomenal job. Just a couple of examples. I got a letter from the emergency room. We had a slight accident right before the parade. Someone was taking some kids to the parade and kind of had an accident, and they had to go to the hospital, and the kids were kind of disappointed that they weren't going to get to see the parade. And a couple of our medics took the kids outside, turned the lights on to the ambulance, gave them their own little parade, and gave them happy. We had a young gentleman who had Down syndrome, who really loved fire trucks and really wanted to be a firefighter. So before the fireworks, our guys had the fire engine sitting out there, and so they took them through it, and then they took some other people through it. So they go above and beyond, but that's everybody, and they do it all the time. Kids, even adults, they all love the fire truck, and they all want to see it, and these guys, that's their specialty, is working with the people and just showing them what we do and why we do it, and I really appreciate all the work that they've done. And just to let you know that they do have their annual scholarship firefighting golf outing. That's August 5th at Robinhurst. So go on the Portage Firefighters Local 3151 website. I think they have it posted there, or their Facebook page, and sign up. So they're looking for golfers, sponsors, and it all goes to the Adam Harding Scholarship. So we give ROTC kids scholarships. So, any questions? Like I said, I wish I had more to report, but it was a busy month. And so we were busy running calls.
Let's hope it quiets down a little bit for you.
Yeah. All righty?
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks,
Alrighty.
Chief. Chief Candiano.
Good evening. Good evening. All right, we really need to let me go before the fire department, all right? Thought we had that worked out, but I sent you guys all an email. I don't have a whole lot. We had a long night last night, so I didn't get the usual amount of time I had to put something together for you. We did have a SWAT call out last night that ended peacefully, about 5 or 6 hours long. So it was a long night for all of us that were involved in that. So, but I do have some numbers, kind of going along with what the fire department's saying. It's just been crazy busy. Our total incidents for June, 3,289. Comes out to 109 per day on average. I think we were, in the months prior, we were in the mid-90s, so you can see it's going way up. I was curious how crazy the weekend was, and I pulled the numbers from the weekend. For just the holiday weekend past, we had 549 incidents. So compare that to the previous weekend, that wasn't a holiday, and it was only 384. So we ran like crazy this weekend. And I know when I sat listening to when we watched the fireworks, I heard the fire department kept going and going and going, so I know they were going equally much this weekend. So year to date, we're at 18,303, and that's up a ton from last year. Last year, year to date, we were at 16,262, so substantial difference. Last year was a weird year, so I did go back to 2019, and we're still up about 500 calls, so busier than 2019, way busier than last year. See what's to come. Just a little report on our manpower. Unfortunately, we're still struggling. We did get one officer back from workman's comp, so pretty excited about that. However, we are losing an officer. It's taking a position, not necessarily another agency, a little bit of a different type of work. He's leaving, so we're losing an officer there. We've got still 2 on our hiring list, so hopefully we'll be able to hire one off of that. And we've got another officer we're losing with a surgery that's coming up. So right now we're at 11 short in patrol, and we'll likely be about 13 short in August because the academy starts. We'll be losing a couple people for the academy then, and we've been talking about it. We've got an officer that's leaving for a military assignment. So 48 in our patrol division, 13 down. That's rough, and I know we've been talking about this every month, so it's been a long summer already for our people. So we did make a couple moves to try to combat that. We had to pull our officer out of the Porter County Drug Unit, and we pulled the detective out of the Detective Bureau. They've both been temporarily reassigned to the Patrol Division. So I appreciate them. They've had their assignments that have been changed. They're working with us. So thanks to them for doing that. Additionally, we're running overtime cover shifts on the weekend, trying to balance out because we've been so busy on the weekend that our minimum amount of officers out of 6 is not quite getting it done. So, and we've even gone to the point where the administrative team's been working afternoon and midnight shifts to try to supplement. So you may see us out on afternoons and midnights trying to help out. So, you know, we were doing pretty good coming into the summer and to the beginning part of the summer, but now with vacations scheduled and things, it's really starting to catch up with us. So, we're trying to get through it. So, the only other thing I want to talk about the 4th of July weekend a little bit. Again, crazy busy weekend. I am very proud of our officers. I think they did an outstanding job, just like Randy spoke about the fire department. You know, it started Friday because it was a long weekend. We were busy Friday, and then Saturday morning had the parade, which I thought went really well. Very excited to be a part of it again this year. Really missed that last year. I was glad to see people out. I think we had one of the biggest turnouts we've ever had as far as officers volunteering to come out and be in the parade. We had a bunch of squad cars at the beginning. Then we had another section with some of our SWAT team and stuff. So I was just happy to see people out. I was excited to be out there. I know there's been some, there's always some negativity out there. It wasn't long enough. It wasn't this. It wasn't that. I, for one, was excited to be out there. I was happy to see it. I was happy to see the people on the side of the road waving, smiling. It was just a feel-good event as far as I was concerned from being in the parade. So again, I want to thank our guys and gals for being out there doing the traffic control. Captain Seagard from our reserve division is here. Those officers are all out there volunteering their time. They're not getting paid. They were pretty much out there from the beginning of the parade or prior to the parade all the way through the fireworks at the end of the night. And then I think some of them probably even stayed to help out with the patrol. So they deserve a lot of thanks and credit for doing what they did again. So fireworks for that night, I thought they went well again. Had a great time there, enjoyed the fireworks. I don't believe we had really any issues at the festival or anything over there. And then Sunday was just with everybody's parties and things, we just were busy. So again, I want to thank my guys, gals for the work they did this weekend. They were shorthanded, as we keep saying, and ran a bunch of calls, but they did a good job. Did a good job for the city. So it's pretty much what I got. Just proud of what everybody did this weekend. So.
Good job, Chief.
Mike, are you going to be putting calls out for applications?
Yeah, so like I said, we've got 2 left on the list. So last we checked with them a couple weeks ago, they had not committed to anything else, so they were still available. Okay. So we'll check in with them, and then we're starting another hiring process. I believe the last week of July or the first week of August, the apps are going to start going out, so we'll start advertising for that. We're going to try to advertise some different places than we have before. I spoke to some of the other departments in the area. Recruiting's down for everybody. The Sheriff's Department just had a recruiting process and numbers were low. So obviously there's some challenges that I think law enforcement in general has got right now. So we're going to try some different things to get some more, avenues that we haven't tried. So, but that's the plan, is to start that new list in August. So,
Okay.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Thanks to all of your guys and gals. Okay, Randy. I see Randy has stuff tonight to talk about.
Well, we'll get into some of the other, we'll get into that in 2 minutes here. So this month, or last month, was quite busy. Almost 1,000 phone calls coming into the department, 1,149 drive-ins to the department. Walk-ins were 315, voice messages 204. We had 378 emails, and we handed out 317 yard passes. So the street department is quite busy. Even today, they were coming in, we were answering the phone, dealing with someone driving in or walking in every 2.4 minutes. So it was quite busy down there.
Next time, would you be a little more specific?
Yes. The street department, we continue to crack seal. Crack sealing program continues to be on schedule. Weed control measures throughout the city. is always being done. Mosquito abatement program continues throughout the city. Limbs, I'm just asking for patience from the public for limbs. During that big storm, everyone has limbs out there, including Woodland Park. So we're going to get Woodland Park cleaned up probably by the end of next week starting. So we got the entire city to run through to pick up a lot of limbs, so just be patient there. I'll give you an update on the South Shore Clean Cities. That grant has been submitted. It's being reviewed at this time. You should hear something for sure by the end of July with that. And we're for the sanitation. This is mostly just like a communications dialogue to the public for tonight. But I brought some, I don't know if this, is this one's on? He's going to turn me on here. So remember the red bins that we used to pick up years ago throughout the city? I mean, these things were atrocious, got to carry everything down. And then back in 2014, we went to co-mingling. This one? Got to turn it on?
Yeah. I think it's on now, right?
It's on now? Okay. So back in 2014, the city went to commingling, and we got away from those red bins. You know, everyone separated their tin, aluminum, cardboard, newspaper, plastic, and our recycling program back then was probably about 4 to 6% diversion rate. And then we went to commingling, everything in the green lid. And I brought my green lid right here. So you just open this up, and it's 96 gallons. So you can easily put all these in here. I'm gonna take these with me too, because these belong to me. These are my bins from years ago. So all that right in there. So we went to commingling, and it was very efficient and effective in the way of collecting recyclables for the city. And everyone loved it. Americans across city to city went commingling. It was the way to go. Put everything in the container, put it to the curb, and just leave it. And that provider or that municipality with that waste and recycling system would come and collect it. All right? Everyone loved it. But the one thing that happened was it got dirty. It got dirty over the years. And back in China, actually was one of the biggest takers of America's recycling. And they took about 40 to 45% of America's recycling. But back in mid of 2018, that all stopped. The nickname for that was called the China Sword. They cut off America. No more, we're not, in fact, they didn't just only cut off America, they cut off the world. So no more recycling. Was like, it was overnight. The president of China just cut everyone out. We don't want your recycling no more. There was literally barges, or not barges, but ships in their harbors getting ready to dock, and they were told to go back to the country you came from. So that left us, Americans, major companies were scrambling for answers as millions of tons of so-called recycling material was rejected and stockpiled in yards and buildings across America. The industry set up new standards which became very stringent in the materials now accepted. In year 2020, Portage seen about a 15% increase of trash. With that whole COVID, everyone being home, everyone was doing something around their house, cleaning out their garage, their basement, and the trash was incredible. But some of that trash got processed through our recycling system, and routes were audited, and nearly 350 toters were confiscated last year because of the violation of our recycling policy. The city of Portage has again experienced that same setback right now within its recycling program. Republic Services just had a meeting with the mayor and some of us department heads, and the city in recent inspections which were delivered of recycling had a contamination rate of 20% or more. And that Republic Services can't have. And they suspended our recycling program with the city until this situation is brought within compliance. Right now, we're not paying for that recycling on the trash side. They just suspended it for a few weeks, and they're closely monitoring our deliveries. The city monthly trash fee only covers the cost of disposal of the common household trash and debris. The recycling program is free and is not mandatory to participate. The recycling efforts, our recycling efforts help offset the cost of trash. Recycling is a benefit to all of us taxpayers of Portage. When non-recyclables are found among the recyclables during drop-off inspections, that load is rejected, and the city will eventually have to pay those rates of trash for disposal. These infractions cost the city thousands of additional tax dollars for disposal. Just simple self-education and awareness through the World Wide Web, an email, even a phone call to our department, we could easily email you a complete list of those things that we accept within our recycling. And the City of Portage, the green lid container, let me say it again, is provided absolutely free of charge. Has nothing to do with our trash fee. In the last week of June, the Sanitation Department of Portage has aggressively started a citywide audit regarding the green lid containers. In just 1 week, the department employees have confiscated 91 green lid toters and will continue to monitor the recycling program to ensure compliance with the industry's set standards. We will only give warnings to residents who we find with just a few minor items that are not accepted, and we've done that. But for those that have major infractions and continue to dump their trash into the green lid toters, which is our recycling program, those toters will be confiscated. It is the responsibility of my household as a Portage resident, to be self-educated and ensure that the green lid toter is compliant with the city's recycling policy. It's the city's employees' responsibility to collect that material from the curb. And due to this situation, Portage taxpayers are now paying city employees to inspect before this collection happens. This labor is intensive. The good news is that the majority of our Portage residents and the entire sanitation department want our recycling program to succeed, and it will have success when we follow the policy. This will only happen as we audit and monitor the recycling routes and bring our city back into compliance. So I'm asking the public to please follow the policy. It's very simple. And that's my report.
Randy, how much do we pay per ton right now?
We pay, I believe it's a little over $57 a ton.
For trash?
Yes,
So
for trash.
When we have a ton of recycling that gets
Yes.
rejected, we pay $57.
Last year, I believe that we took...
Or we don't pay. We will in the future pay $57 or
Yes.
more. Right.
Last year, we took, on the recycling side, about 3,500 tons. So you can multiply that by about $55 last year we were paying, and that's the offset that in savings for trash.
And that's a low amount tonnage. We can
Yeah.
see that number increase.
Yes. Any questions?
Randy, on those toters that have been confiscated, what's the percentage that they actually get them back and comply?
It's a very low percentage that has contacted us. When we confiscate a toter, we take pictures of the toter, document the serial number, fill out the form. We actually deliver it right to the door, and they know what happened to that toter and the things that we found within. So it's just not a pizza box. When we open up the pizza box, there's a half a pizza in there. You know, it's that bad on the 91 that we confiscated. So,
Or the pizza box itself? Then you'd have to
yeah,
have
the
it.
pizza box itself
Doesn't go in there.
does not go in there. So
But you have to make
trash.
sure it's clean. If there's any...
No, you can't put pizza boxes in
Yeah,
there.
The grease
pizza.
alone.
The grease,
The grease, right.
the grease is bad.
So the pizza box is good or bad?
That's bad.
You can't
It's
put
bad.
pizza boxes.
Bad.
We don't want pizza
With or
boxes
without
in
the
our
pizza.
recycling.
They're without.
So if you go to our Facebook page, if you go to our Portage Facebook page, the most recent list is up mostly. I just posted it this morning, so.
Yeah, I should share
I shared
a
it.
short story about how conscientious our city is in checking these toters. So I was outside doing something, and I'm not embarrassing Randy, I'm just reinforcing the job the city's doing. And I see Randy out front going through my toter. I go, Randy, hi, how are you? He says, he didn't know it was my residence, and that tells you he's not being biased in any way. He said, well, the issue is, Mr. Williams, you have treated wood in your recycling toter. Being ignorant to the fact, not knowing the exact guidelines, you can't put treated wood in your recycling toter. So fortunately, he educated me and I got it to where it needed to go. So I think we can all be guilty of this, but I think we have to be more conscious. If you are going to recycle, take the responsibility to know what can go in those toters. So I think we have to raise, it's great that we recycle to the extent we do. However, there's a level of responsibility that goes with following those guidelines. So I hate to have to pay $57 a ton, and that's only going to go up for everything we take to the recycling center. I mean, it could cost us eventually $500,000. Right now, I did the math, and it's about $200,000. Right now. That's at $55, not at $57. So everyone knows that our budget is tight. So please, if you are going to recycle, I know I'm beating a dead horse here. Take responsibility.
So Randy, in conversations about the next trash and recycling contract, is there any chance that our recycling is going to continue to be free anyway? When we take it to the dump?
With what other municipalities have negotiated in those contracts that have ended, they are now paying for recycling.
Full price?
I don't know if it's full price. Some of that's, we'd have to ask for like a Freedom of Act request on those things.
Okay.
So, but I know that area municipalities right now are paying to get rid of their recycling.
Okay.
So our contract doesn't end until August of 2023.
Right.
So.
And as they say, when in doubt, throw it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
To the left of me on the black tables, I do have the most up-to-date list of recyclables and those things that don't belong in the green lid toter. So,
Thank you.
all right.
Good idea.
Okay.
Thanks, Randy.
Thank you, Randy.
Randy.
All right. Thank you.
Good job, Randy.
I see Barb is here from the marina.
Good evening, everybody.
evening, Barb.
Apologize for my being late, but I had a boat on a trailer that had a flat tire, and he didn't have any way to get to a tire shop, so I took him to a tire shop and got him and his 4 kids on his merry way. Busy 4th of July and relatively no issues, which is very nice, and I'm sure Chief Candiano was happy about that. Again, we are 100% at capacity, and we've got a couple of things that are going to go on at the marina. July 12th, we begin our paving project, and that's posted on the marina webpage. It's also notices posted throughout the marina. But we're going to be paving the entire the entire west side of the parking lot, all the way to the far north point to the south bathhouse. The north point will be expanded for the fire department to access their fire boat, so they won't be blocking any traffic anymore. They're going to be able to park in their own designated spot because they've already been out quite a few times this year on rescues. Let's see. On that note, we are in discussions with the DNR and the Fish and Wildlife Service regarding a fish cleaning station. It's going to be a grant opportunity. We don't know what the grant is going to be. We're hoping that it's at least 75%, because the fish cleaning station that we want to put up is going to be about maybe $200,000. So it'd be nice to be able to get that finally accomplished for the marina. We are also looking at the Ponica property that's between the Isaac Walton and the Marquette Yacht Club. We are looking to put a public fishing pier in there. We're discussing with Avonmarsh the technicalities of dealing with that grade that walks down to where the waterway is and the old fishing docks are. So we can look forward to maybe getting a grant, a grant for that. Other than that, that's all I have to say. Any questions?
Barb, I noticed they opened the Okra grants again. Is there any chance of you getting in on one of those Okra grants?
We're looking at those.
Okay.
We're looking at those definitely, Mayor, so maybe we can do something with that too.
And maybe even the governor's Ready grant that's
Yes.
out. Yeah.
We're exploring all grant opportunities
Yeah.
for whatever we can do to modernize and upgrade the marina.
I know you've been trying to get that fish cleaning station for a long time.
Since 2013.
Yeah.
No questions?
Does anybody have any questions for Barb? No. Thanks.
Thanks,
Barb.
everybody.
Thanks, Barb.
Thank you.
I think AJ submitted his report to everybody.
Yep, he did.
Yes.
And I don't see anybody from the parks here. Is anybody from the parks? Okay. Okay. We have reports from standing committees.
I have a report, Madam Mayor, from the Ordinance Committee. The Ordinance Committee met today in our standing meeting at 5 o'clock, and we addressed two issues. One was under unfinished business, the smoking ban and the ordinance relating to that, and I'll get to make some comments about that in just a minute. And we also talked under new business, the mobile food vendors, establishing an ordinance that provides restrictions and controls for mobile food vendors, and we'll be presenting that ordinance for the full council's review in August. In regard to the, and maybe smoking ban is not the right terminology, but that's, everybody knows what I'm referring to. We're basically going to recommend the ordinance committee, and we're going to have the attorney draft an ordinance that follows the state statute. We already have restrictions in place for the entire state, and we're going to follow that state statute, which allows for bars and taverns, tobacco retail shops, cigar bars, hookah bars, state licensed gaming facilities, licensed horse track facilities, and membership clubs to make the decision on their own whether they're going to allow smoking. However, in addition to that, we are going to address public property and smoking on public property, and recommend some restrictions of smoking in public areas. So that will be introduced to the full council in August. Anything you'd like to add to that, Deb?
No, I think you covered it, Scott.
Thank you. That's our report.
Thank you, Scott. Debbie, quickly on budget committee, I think you'll all start meeting soon, right?
Well, I was just going to
Thank you.
put it out there. I've actually started to meet with some of the department heads on their kind of what their needs and wants are, and then as soon as we get that done, then I'll set up a meeting with the full budget committee and we'll start going over it.
And then, Mayor, do we want to update on Rescue Act from the last meeting with what we got from Baker Tilly, just the updates on that, or save that for August?
I think we'll wait till August. Nina, do we have an update on the funding?
We don't have the funds yet.
So I think your last report to us was like 8.3 million. We get half of that this year, but we still have not gotten that money, so.
Which is an increase from what we
We don't fall
thought.
into the federal guidelines. The county has gotten their money, but we fall into a different guideline. So the federal government gives the money to the
State.
to the state, and the state has to allocate it to us. Now, there is a penalty if the state gets it and they don't get it to us in a timely fashion.
They just accepted it like last week. They were determining whether or not they wanted to recognize townships.
Right.
So that would have changed the allotments.
I think they are not recognizing townships, right?
And then if there's any municipalities, because units can opt out and just say, I'm not going to deal with it, I don't want it, that can happen. And so if they do, those amounts will be redistributed.
We will not be opting out, I would
They'll
hope.
be opting out.
8.3 million is going to be a nice chunk of change from the
Which
federal
is an
government.
increase from the original amount.
Right. We were
So
originally
I think
expecting
our committee
7.7.
hasn't gotten together because we're still kind of waiting for the money. And so we will be getting together in the next few weeks again. There's a lot of little good things about that money that we can do, and we have already had one meeting on that. So, for instance, one of the things that that allows is that you can take a portion of that money and gift it to nonprofits. So that was one of the discussions that we were having. Some of our nonprofits struggled very badly during COVID, so we're looking at that. So we haven't figured that out. There's a lot to figure out, but we are going to be reporting on that next month. Anybody else have any? Devlin, do you have a budget meeting set up? You're not?
Not yet, I'm
Okay.
not done with the department head yet.
Okay. So we have unfinished business, resolution 21-14, Colin?
Yes, Ferdinand, could you please read that for us?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you. Resolution number 21-14, resolution extending FFCRA paid leave. Whereas the Portage Common Council has been advised that city employees were off work during the period of January 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2021, directly related to COVID, and whereas the paid leave afforded under the FFCRA, also known as the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, had expired on December 31st, 2020, and whereas under the Consolidated Appropriations Act, also known as CAA 2021, Congress allowed employers to extend the FFCRA paid leave through March 31st, 2021, and whereas the Portage Common Council desires to extend the FFCRA leave through March 31st, 2021. Now, therefore, the Portage Common Council finds that, number one, that the Portage Common Council extends the FFCRA paid leave through March 31st, 2021 as allowed under the Consolidated Appropriations Act, and number two, that time taken off during January 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2021 that meets the eligibility under the FFCRA may be considered as FFCRA leave. Number three, that the time off taken by firefighters from January 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2021 that is determined eligible under the FFCRA results shall be treated as productive time for computing Kelly time. And number four, all FFCRA time requests shall be reviewed by the city attorney to determine if they are eligible for FFCRA leave before paid leave under the FFCRA shall be allowed. Let the record show that this resolution has been read in its entirety.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
Dan, do you just want to provide a brief explanation on this?
So,
Practically what it will do?
Yeah, so basically, you know, I think it kind of spoke for itself in the sense that it will allow those periods of time that were taken off during those months to be considered for the FFCRA paid leave as opposed to other paid time off. It will also allow the firefighters to have that time counted as their Kelly time. So basically, this extends everything that was in place in 2020.
Thank you.
I'd just like to say I hope that this is a resolution to this issue that has been contentious as of late, and I hope this is acceptable to both sides.
Is there any further discussion? If not, Nina, please call the roll.
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes?
Councilperson Podgorski?
Yes.
Councilperson Geisthurst?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem,
Yes.
Councilperson Williams,
Yes.
Councilperson Gully,
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli.
Yes.
Okay. We have no new business. Introduction of ordinances, I don't believe we have any. So now we have petitions and remonstrances and public input. At this time, if the public has anything they would like to say, please step to the microphone, give your name and your address, and please keep your comments to 2 minutes.
Good evening, Council. My name is Megan Fisher, and I'm here as a representative of the Porter County Tobacco Education and Prevention Coalition. I had the pleasure of sharing some comments with you guys last month at the council meeting regarding the Breathe Easy Portage ordinance that Mr. Williams referenced during the agenda. And we know that there's still work being done, and we actually appreciate that you continue to have discussions and considerations regarding this issue, because it really is a huge public health issue. We came tonight just to show our continued support of the proposed ordinance. And over the last month since it enjoyed its first reading during the June council meeting, we've been meeting with folks in the community, attending activities and getting feedback, and we've heard a lot of positive feedback about adopting the ordinance as proposed. We've also, as you know, been a part of helping facilitate a support letter from all of the healthcare providers that provide services within Portage, who do encourage adoption of the ordinance. So just want to show our appreciation and extend the continued offer to any or all of you, especially the ordinance committee, as you work towards drafting some proposed amendments. The coalition is more than happy to sit down and share information, statistics, outcomes from other areas in the state that have taken this significant step. I think that us having that open dialogue is truly important for us to protect that health of all of our Portage citizens. So thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Megan.
Madam Mayor, Council,
Evening.
I am reading a letter that I wanted to submit on behalf of Portage Township. Hope I better get my glasses. Asking again for the City of Portage's support for our trail grant. This is phase 3 of the next level. It's the same trail grant that you guys got in phase 2. It's a $5 million grant, 20% matching. And they ask that obviously you get more points when we work together. The county has already committed. They're in full support, as the city was last time. So we just want to refresh this in our next attempt at phase 3. And the letter is as follows. Dear Mayor and City Council, Portage Township, Porter County is applying to our state's next level grant program for the Portage Township Trail Project. In a nutshell, the trail will link residents in South Haven to the Prairie Duneland Trail at Samuelson Road and Central Avenue, with the potential to further link Founders Square into downtown Portage and long-term down to the city of Valparaiso. With the Round 2 application, we received a letter of endorsement from the City of Portage City Council and the Mayor, and look forward to the committed to the project, and that we are continuing to move forward. We're seeking input, growing partners, raising financial support, and revisiting the plan and taking our place for our Round 3 application. Currently, we're also working on the Lake Michigan Coastal Program grant, which has been approved. It's for preliminary design and engineering plans and documents for the Portage Township Trail Project. This week, our Park Department will be issuing a bid request for proposals to begin the trail planning process. So I'm here to request the city's continued support and to invite the City of Portage to join us as a project partner. And recently, our Deputy Chief of Staff, Joe Lindstrom, met with AJ, the City of Portage planner, to gather information and input. And obviously, through their discussion, once again, the benefits of a partnership between the township, the city, and the county would benefit everybody in this community. So I look forward again to your support, and I would like to ask for somebody to propose a motion to support the partnership in the trail project.
I make a motion to adopt the trail project with Mr. Clancy and the township.
I'll second.
Second that. In fact, if you want to include it in the motion, I'll volunteer my services, and if the mayor and President Zilli are amenable to that, to take an active role in this
Thank you
project.
very much.
We have a
Absolutely.
motion and a couple of seconds. Is there any further discussion?
I actually have a discussion, just a question for the city attorney. In full disclosure, I am a member of the Portage Township Park Board, so my question would be as far as voting, if that's okay, everything's okay?
I don't see it as a conflict, Councilman.
Very well.
Not unless you're building the trail.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I have a question for you. As the trail comes into Portage, will it be lighted? Because I just recently toured the trails at Kokomo, and
They're
their
gorgeous,
trails
aren't they?
throughout their city.
Yes.
There's that Kokomo.
That's
where
something that
again,
we're looking into.
They're all lighted, and it's absolutely fabulous. People can walk those trails at night and be very safe.
Yeah, and there's some of the nicest trails in the state, and they have what's called pocket parks on them.
Yep.
And the whole concept in Kokomo is similar to a few other towns and cities down there. It's a really nice concept, and it would be exponential in the development of downtown Portage.
And we all know what the trails do, connecting us to other communities.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's just something we really need to be doing.
I agree.
So, do you need another letter from the city?
Yeah, we'll submit one. I just wanted to get the verbal commitment so that we can move ahead with Great Lakes Coastal, because we did get that grant. We just have to go through the next process.
I think after the council votes on this, we can have either the full council sign or just myself, whichever way we need to do it.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how we did it last time, so.
We do have a motion on the floor.
We have a motion and a second.
Yeah.
Nina, would you please call the roll?
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Tchaikovsky?
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Gully?
Anticipation's killing me.
Brian, we're waiting on you.
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Brandon, just have Joy reach out to me when the next meeting, at the point you want me to get involved.
Awesome. Thank you very, very much. Thank
Good
you.
luck
Thank you.
with
Thanks.
your grant.
Good luck,
Thanks.
thank you.
I think you all know who I am, Bob Holman. I'm a lifetime resident of the city of Portage, and I'm here as a previous drinker, smoker, and business owner in the city of Portage. And I'm here to stand up for the hardworking Americans, families, and veterans of the city of Portage. I really don't believe that this body should be micromanaging the health issues of people in this community. Our money, our tax dollars go to a health department, to include this, that are trained to follow the science. If we don't know nothing about the science, you should leave it alone and defer to the health department. I got a few notes here. Let me start here. I don't think it's right for somebody to separate somebody out just because they do something that they don't like or say something that they don't believe in. We're all Americans, and we all should be treated with the freedoms of Americans that our veterans fought to hold and keep.
Thank you.
So I ask you, what's wrong with a hard-working American stopping by their favorite tavern on their way home from a hard day's work to have a smoke and a drink? I don't think they should be micromanaged. To give you an example, I don't like the smell of diesel fuel. So guess what? I don't go to truck stops. And when I go down the highway, I roll my window up. I adjust my habits to conform with what goes on in society. I don't try to suppress people because of their habits or their beliefs, and I don't think this body should. It's wrong. Should leave the health issues to the government body called the health department, which are trained to follow the science. I know because I worked with health departments throughout the state for years. And I know the type of training that they go through, and they go through more extensive training than you or any of these people. And they're trained to follow the science. I don't want to get into it all today, so I'm going to leave it there. And I'll close by saying happy birthday, America, for what's left of it. See you next month.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Hi everyone, thank you for letting me speak. My name is Shannon Huff. I'd like to introduce myself as a hardworking American. I have been a registered nurse for 14 years and I do know the science. As an RN, I worked many years, about 11 years as an inpatient nurse. I've had lots of patients tell me, I wish I never started. And some of them did try to quit when they left. Last year, for a few months, I had to work on the COVID unit. And the people that did the worst, those that went to the ICU, some of them were very overweight, and that's why they didn't do very well with COVID, but a lot of them were smokers. And again, they said, I wish I never started. A lot of these people have given you a lot of stories and a lot of reasons to adopt this, but I'd like to give you a little bit of a different perspective. In 2019, I started working in more of a prevention job. I work as a health and wellness coordinator now in the city of Portage, and I work with the community to try to raise their health. When I looked up why most people start smoking because it's cool or they'd like to fit in. And that's how I started too. So when I was in my young 20s, when I was young and in my 20s, I worked in a restaurant where other people smoked. People that came in, there was a smoking section. I worked around other people that smoked, and therefore I tried it because I wanted to be cool and I wanted to fit in. Had I not worked in an area like that or not been around so much smoking, I probably wouldn't have tried it. Although smoking never hooked me, I just wonder how many people it did hook. And if I could prevent just one person from maybe starting smoking, I'm wondering if I could have prevented that one person from visiting me in the COVID unit when I had to be that one person to hold their hand and tell them, you know, we're going to get you out of here, you know, just keep fighting hard. But unfortunately, their years of lung damage kept them there and prevented them from getting better. So if I can prevent one person from starting to smoke because they're trying to be cool or fit in with maybe their other coworkers or the people that they work for, you know, you might say, yes, you have the choice to walk in this restaurant. Some people don't have a choice of where they work. They might, if you've ever worked in restaurants, being a server is good money. Being a bartender is good money. And they might not be able to trade that for their health, unfortunately. So if I can prevent one person from starting to smoke, I think that is well worth this vote. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor Lynch, President Zilli, esteemed members of the council and fellow colleagues. This evening, my name is Karen Allen. I'm Dean of the College of Nursing and Health Professions at Valparaiso University. The Indiana State Department of Health has asked us to engage in a coalition of smoke-free efforts in this area. So I want to thank you for providing me with the moment to share some thoughts regarding the proposed smoke-free ordinance for Portage. So far today, there have been approximately 611,031 deaths in the U.S. alone due to COVID-19. We have all watched excruciating pictures of people in the throes of struggling with this disease and its devastation. We've even seen numerous names scrolled during various news reports of people who have died due to the virus. It's been heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching, and traumatic, not only for those who care for the ill, but for any human being living on the face of the earth. The amazing thing that has been for me is the fact that early on and even today, the importance of banding together to protect one another has been the prevalent theme for success. Wearing masks, socially distancing, closing down businesses temporarily, and even getting vaccinated. These actions may not have been comfortable, profitable, or without challenges for all involved, but they allowed us to get somewhat of a handle on the death toll we have been experiencing. Throughout all of this, what has resonated through my mind is the question God posed to man at the beginning of time. Are you your brother's keeper? See, for me, in addition to all that I enjoy and participate in life, is the fact that I am expected to be my brother's keeper. And for that reason, I wear a mask, I socially distance, and I got vaccinated. As I ponder all of this, I think of the impact of smoking. According to the CDC, more than 480,000 deaths each year from smoking, which includes secondhand smoke, occurs. This is not new. It's been the case for decades. We have lost close to 500,000 people each year for many years to devastating and gut-wrenching illness and disease from smoking. But where are the pictures of the healthcare workers struggling to heal? Where are the names being scrolled during news reports? It is as if we're immune to what is happening. Smoking is the leading cause of preventable death in the U.S., and yet I don't hear us coming together to help our brothers and sisters. I've dealt with smoking with my family members. I've dealt with smoking as a nurse caring for those dying for effects, and as an addiction specialist who worked in treatment programs for the United States Center for Substance Abuse Treatment, and as a researcher who has served on the Advisory Council for the United States Center for Substance Abuse Prevention. As the previous person spoke earlier, I was a nurse on an alcohol and rehab and drug rehab unit for years. Before the smoke-free ordinances came to that city and that hospital, I would go in and care for patients that were smoking. I had to inhale the smoke. It impacted my health, so I was excited when they began to change with the ordinance. In all of my roles over the many decades, one thing has stood out for me regarding smoking that remains true today. Many individuals cannot beat this on their own. It has to be a community effort. We have to realize that tobacco today is not what it was when it was planted and grown in the 1800s. Tobacco today is laced with specific ingredients intentionally added to induce addiction, making it hard to quit smoking, regardless of the death it creates and the toll that it takes. It can no longer be looked at as just a vehicle for self-relaxation and pleasure. It must be regarded as the weapon of death that it truly is. To that end, we must fight. So I just wanted to share with you tonight a request that you ponder the question, are we our brothers and sisters keepers? Thank you.
Hello, good evening. I'm sure that you do not recognize me, but I recognize many of your names. I am Jamie Bump. I was born and raised in Portage. I'm a 1991 Portage graduate. I moved back to Portage about 4 years ago. My daughter just graduated from Portage High School. I live at 2952 Caitlin Cove, and my father, just like you all, was involved in service. Elective service for Portage. My father was Bruce Creasy. I participated in developing the parks with my father. I participated in developing the garden, as did my children, at the senior center. My father taught me the importance of community and service and furthering the health of our community. I am also, I have my doctorate in nursing. I am a nurse practitioner and have been in Northwest Indiana for my entire career, which is almost at 30 years. I work as a critical care nurse practitioner at Community Hospital in Munster, and I work as a hospitalist nurse practitioner at Franciscan. So two of our largest healthcare agencies within the area. I'm also a professor at Valparaiso University. As a resident of Portage and being born here, I feel that it is very important that we have a no smoking in all public places, including bars and restaurants. Leaving it to the choice of that individual business is not going to further these efforts. Because if one business, one bar owner decides to not have smoking in their bar, they are at risk of losing business. But when we as a whole community decide that this is the rule, then business is not lost by our business owners, because supporting them is so very much important for our community health as well. I can speak from my own experiences. I have frequented bars and establishments in Portage, and I am a non-smoker. And I will tell you that my friends and myself would be more likely to go to bars and establishments in Portage with non-smoking, just because of not wanting to go home smelling like a cigarette or for our own health. So I feel very strongly that from a business perspective, it is a win-win when the whole city adopts such a proposition. I too, as Shannon spoke of being on the front lines of COVID, working in the critical care and in the inpatient hospital units, have cared for COVID patients. Never mind the fact that I've also treated those patients with atherosclerotic heart disease and strokes, due in large part to exposure to and smoking. But with the COVID virus, what we are seeing now actually, now that our older populations are vaccinated, is we are seeing younger 30 and 40-year-old people without any significant medical history other than obesity and smoking. And they are dying, just as our older patients were at the beginning of this pandemic. So this is a huge of importance to our community health. So I urge you all to really consider the proposition on the table, but from the coalition. Thank you.
My name is Denise Carpenter. I reside at 5955 Sunrise Avenue. You've heard a lot from me last month, and I know you've heard quite a bit from us this evening as well, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. As we talk about how we don't want to oppress anyone or we don't want to suppress the people who we don't like what they do, I just want you to keep in mind that the smoking rate in Porter County is only 21%, which means that there are 79% non-smokers in the county. So when we talk about how it should be okay that a veteran goes and he smokes a cigarette, I 100% support our veterans, and I believe that he should be able to do what he wants to do, but that does not mean that the other 79% have to also breathe in their smoke. I reiterated this last month, and I just want to say it again. No one is trying to take away anyone's right to smoke with this ordinance. They are merely asking you not to smoke in an enclosed space with other human beings. So I just want you to keep that in mind as you go forward, that there is a much larger percentage of non-smokers in your county than there are smokers. Thank you.
Where did you get that number from?
Hi, my name's Robin Bender. I have a house here, 5970 Lexington Avenue. I also have 3 businesses in town, one of which is a bar. We were the hardest hit industry with the COVID, and this is the worst time to have anything like this, because most of us had to take out extra loans in order to keep our businesses even open. And collectively, we've got 5 bar owners sitting in here. Collectively, we have at least 100 people that are relying on their jobs. 2 of the bar owners that are sitting in here have tried going non-smoking, and they've lost 40% from one and 70% from the other one. We're right across the border. So if you guys all think, or any of you think, that we're not going to lose our businesses if this does go through, you're dead wrong. Dead wrong. Mine is a sports bar. I have 10 dartboards, and I have a very large dart crowd that comes into my establishment for leagues and for tournaments. They are basically what's keeping me alive during the summer, because summer sucks for the bars. But they've already told me, my smokers, that if this goes through, they've already got other places that they're going to go to, in Lake Station and in Porter. And I already know that my non-smokers will follow them, because it is a group. So I thank you for what you had considered before about excluding the bars, because honestly, the only place you could smoke is a standalone bar, where it's not connected to a restaurant or some other place where a child can come in contact with it. A 21 and older person can make that decision whether to walk into that door or to go somewhere else and take their money elsewhere. So I'm urging you guys to keep with this. There's only 8 businesses, 8, which means we've got a target on our back. There are so many other places in Portage that you can go to have a beer and not be in a smoking atmosphere. So for us 8 that this will only affect, please consider not killing our business, because it definitely will. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Lynch, council members, Mark from Marco's Bar and Grill, Oak Crisco. I applaud you for coming here, okay, I do. I tried as an owner of a bar, a restaurant, for 6 months. I went smoke free, okay? 6 months I went smoke free. I have a lot of money that I have put forth into my bar and my grill. My business, if this ban was to happen, I would lose probably 50% of my business if I was to try to sell. My building's probably worth $550,000, which maybe I could sell that to somebody. But as far as my equipment, my liquor license and everything else, it would go to zilch, okay? Being honest with you, I could show you during that 6-month period what I spent in alcohol, okay? In liquor and beer. And I could show you the previous years. I could show you the previous years. It was cut in less than half. I had to take money from other areas that I had in order to keep Marco's Bar and Grill in Portage afloat. This becomes more than just a city issue. We're a speck, okay? We're just this little speck. And I don't know if your group has tried going to the town of Porter, to Chesterton. What about the town, or the Gary? Have you tried going to the city of Gary? Have you tried going to the city of Gary to put this ban through, the city of Gary? No, I'm just asking, have you tried going to Gary? I stopped a couple weeks ago at the Hard Rock, the new Hard Rock, okay? New Hard Rock. There were thousands of people in the Hard Rock. They were gambling, of course, having a few beverages, and smoking cigarettes. Thousands of them. Have you attempted to go in that direction?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Are they going to change? No. Okay. What's going to happen if this was just to happen to Portage? I'm going to be quite honest with you. Just like you had mentioned, Robin, they're going to go elsewhere. I mean, we're just a little step that you're going through. I mean, I don't know if you've tried the town of Porter yet. Have you tried the town of Porter, the town of Chesterton?
Trying the entire city.
Okay, well, you know, I'm just telling you. It's very difficult. If the state, I would be the poster child to go with you if the state was to do it. I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. But I'm not going to choke my own self and my own business by having an ordinance like this passed in the city of Portage that's going to take away from these business owners that have put a lot of money into their into their places, their establishments. Okay, people are 21. They have a choice in life. They don't have to come to Marco's Bar and Grill. They don't need to go to the Rocks. Okay, they don't need to. Do I tell my kids to quit smoking? Absolutely, I do. Okay, but I'm not going to be somebody's. Well, I don't know what I want to term it as, telling people to quit smoking. It's not my job in life to do that, okay? But if you go downstate and if you're able to do something with the state, I'd be the first person to go with you. Okay? That's all I have to say. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Mayor Lynch.
Megan Fisher again. I just want to reinforce that we're truly not trying to be divisive with this at all and don't really want to get engaged in a debate back and forth. I think we just want to have the dialogue with you and share the actual statistics that are out there. Not stand here and have anecdotal stories and undocumented research and statistics, but actually present the information that we do have from other communities that have taken the step from the state, from the departments of health, from various actual documented sources, and have that discussion with you. So if you're willing to just continue that dialogue with us, with all of us, we would love that. That's all.
Is there anybody else wishing to speak this evening? Beto, are you speaking? No. Okay. Are there any other matters to come before this council this evening? If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Nina, please call the roll.
Councilperson Alvarez?
Yes.
Councilperson Prikorsky?
Yes.
Councilperson Geishurst? Yes. Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Kelly?